Hey guys, welcome back. So in today's video I'm going to tell you guys how I keep my horse cool during heat waves. So normally it's around 85 to 90 degrees is our high where I live, and it has literally been 110 degrees with the feel like and the humidity, and it's just literally been awful. And so I'm going to tell you guys my best tips and tricks for keeping my horse cool. So I wanted to give you guys a video of what I personally do, and it seems to keep Leroy pretty cooled off, happy, healthy. So let's get to it. Alright, the first thing I like to do to keep Leroy cool during heat waves is to rinse him off. So this doesn't mean I'm giving him baths every day with soap, even though some days I will do that, like maybe once a week, but not even. I will literally just rinse them off with cold water. Make sure you start at their legs, that way their body can get used to the cold water. You don't want to give their system a shock. And then I just like to rinse them off all over and then squeegee them off or use my hands to help get the water off when I'm done, and I feel like this really helps them. This is also really good after a ride if you are riding when it's not too hot, just in general, especially if they're sweaty, and it definitely feels nice, I feel like. But yeah, that's like my favorite thing to do, and Leroy seems to really like it. The second most important thing is making sure your horse has water and also cleaning out the buckets, because they can get gross. So like in summer, bugs are trying to get drinks, your horse is drinking more in general, so that's why you want to make sure you're checking it more, filling it, and you know, they're dirty and they're rolling, and so they get dirt in their buckets. So I've been scrubbing them, but honestly, if you can just get water and rinse it out a couple times, it'll definitely make a difference. But I like to scrub them most of the time. Sometimes I won't, but just getting the bugs out of there, getting the dirt out of there, and giving them fresh water, because I notice when I do that and then I put Leroy's bucket back in, he literally chugs that water. And so yeah, just making sure they have fresh water and clean water, even if you can't like deeply scrub it, is so important, especially when it's hot. You want to make sure they're drinking water. So encouraging that by having cleaner water, I feel like, is definitely not a bad thing, even though they might drink from a dirty puddle in the paddock. But either way, it's still really good to make sure they have that and they have that choice. Alright, the next thing I like to do is to make sure Leroy has fly and UV protection. So his fly mask actually has UV protection, so protection from the sun in it, which is nice. And then for flies, I spray him every time I see him. I want to make sure he's comfortable because the flies are fierce. And I also recently got him fly boots, and I'm showing you guys how I put them on here. They're the brand Arma, and I actually love them. I used to think they didn't really work because like I thought the flies would fly down, but that just does not happen. And they're really nice, and they're Velcro and they don't come undone. So here, as you can see, it's not like stuck to them by any means. Like, you can still move it and they can move their legs, and you can also ride in them. And I have ridden them and it hasn't been a problem. They just have to figure it out at first. And then also to prevent flies, I like to make sure his stall is very clean. So especially the pee and poo spots, and not so much like the spots that are kind of just random. Really making sure that you get every like section and anything you find, and picking it up and picking it out really deters the flies because they're attracted to that. And so I find by cleaning his stall, literally if I'm there twice a day, I'm cleaning it twice a day, because it really helps keep it clean and nice. And if it helps prevent flies, I will definitely be doing it because I hate flies. The next thing is riding in safe temperatures. So there's actually a study about how the humidity affects your riding and how hot it is for the horse. So I think you add the humidity onto whatever the temperature is, and if it's like over 140, then it's not safe to ride in. And I just kind of found that out, so I think that's interesting. I haven't like researched it in it like full, but finding safe temperatures to ride in. If it's too hot for you, it's going to be too hot for your horse. And riding early in the morning, late at night, or not riding at all. And when you do ride, I've been riding in the morning, and I make sure to walk for a really long time on the rail both directions. And I've been focusing on trot pulls when I do work, not really cantering as much, not jumping him, and also just doing walk exercises. Like, I've been spiraling him in and out, and just really working on our trotting, and that does not like make him super sweaty. So yeah, I'm really just emphasizing walking is really important. You want to make sure your horse is really warmed up if you are riding in these temperatures, and you want to make sure that you're taking care of them before and after your ride, making sure they're drinking water, doing your stretches for them. The next thing I like to do is making sure his hair is braided, whether it's just a running braid or just like a bunch of braids. I like to have it braided because he has a gorgeous mane and I will not cut it, but it's also heavy under there and definitely sweaty, so just braiding it definitely gives them some airflow to their neck, and I feel like that's really helpful at keeping their neck cool. The next thing I like to do is just going to the barn to check on Leroy and spend time with him, brushing him, letting him roll, and giving him treats and things like that. But also it's a good way because especially when the weather changes drastically from cold to hot to extreme heat, it can cause things and potentially cause issues. And if you're there every day and you know what your horse is normally like and they change, you can definitely spot things more easily. And especially because of the weather changes, things are more prone to happen. And so, you know, being there, checking on them, you know, if they're sweaty, you can give them a bath, and just make sure that you're doing everything you can to prevent any sort of things happening. You know, you can see if they're drinking their water, they ate their grain, they ate their hay, things like that. So just going and checking on them and grooming them and just spending time with them, not only will it help your bond, but you also have the chance to make sure they're doing okay and acting themselves, because that's definitely a big thing. Just knowing your horse and knowing when they are acting different, so when you do check on them, you know if something is off, which is just a really good way to make sure nothing potentially could happen and you're making sure that your horse is acting normal. Along with number 6, checking the weather consistently is good, especially because things can change really quickly. And also if you check, you can know if there's big weather changes, and making sure when you go to the barn that your horse is acting normal, knowing about these weather changes, making sure they're drinking water and eating their grain. And if you go to the barn, you can make sure they're not hot, you can give them baths, and just making sure you're aware, because you want to make sure your horse is comfortable. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video of me giving you guys my tips and tricks to keep my horse cool during heat waves. Obviously, it's been really hot, so I haven't been able to ride as much, and so I wanted to like give you guys some sort of video. But yeah, unless I'm riding in the morning, as you guys saw, as that's one of my things that I've been doing. But yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!